Hi there, this is Dr. Knotts. I want to teach you on the subject of Satan or Satan, also known as Baal, Ra, Lucifer, Apollos, Zeus, Hecate. He's got many names. But I want to speak about him as the subject of the adversary or Satan. The Hebrew name for Satan is Satan, Sawtawun. It is where we get the root for demon or devil, which is Sa'ar, S-A-hyphen-U-R, Sa'ar. And it means, Satan means the one. It's capitalized as a proper name, but it doesn't mean God. But it means the one who would seek to be God. He's not God, but he's the one that wants to be God. That's what the name Satan actually means. It's not until we get it in the Greek that it's translated in simple terms, the adversary. And the reason why is it does a play or what we call an expletive on the Hebrew definition, the one who would seek to be God. And it means that he seeks to do this by being his total opposition and adversary. He's the king of all pride, described in Job as Leviathan. He has a hatred that is pure for God. He's void of all light. He is a demon of complete blackness. That's why when he fills somebody with his spirit, as Beelzebub, the beast is in them, it is completely blacker than black. It's a darkness you can feel. His main goal in life as Satan is to destroy anything that is good and of God. He's an accuser of the brethren, which means he constantly accuses all of mankind before God daily. Anytime somebody's name is brought up, he's always accusing them. He points out their sins, their fallacies. He doesn't care the fact that he's the one leading most of them into these sins. In Zechariah chapter 3, verses 1 through 2, we see him at work. The Bible tells us he showed me Joshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of the Lord. And Satan was standing at his right hand to resist him. The Lord said unto Satan, The Lord rebuke thee, O Satan. Even the Lord that has chosen Jerusalem rebukes thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? You see, he has such a hatred for God and mankind that he seeks to have everybody cast into hell. He doesn't understand God's mercy and love. We're all deserving of hell. We're all sinful. Let's face it. The fact is, God is gracious in his mercy and love to care for us, to want to talk to us, to want to be with us, to want to rescue us and save us from our own selves. But Satan, as the adversary, he accuses us night and day before God the Father. When we get to the book of Revelations, we get a little bit of a deeper understanding of why he has different names, why he's called interchangeable names. He's also monstrous in appearance. When you see him, as he's described, he's like that four-headed dragon. He's like a four-headed cherub. He's terrifying to behold. None but the Lord can stand against him. The Bible's very plain in Job 40 that nobody can stand against him. He's so terrifying to behold that even the strongest of men will just literally drop dead from fear. When the archangel Michael went against him, he did not fight him for the body of Moses. You see, Satan tried to get the body of Moses. He simply tells him, we read this in Job, he simply tells him, the Lord rebukes you. Here's how the Satan is described in Revelation. So Michael didn't stand up against him for the body of Moses. He said, the Lord rebukes you, Satan. Satan had to leave. It says in Revelations chapter 12, there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels, plural, fought against the dragon. The dragon fought, and his angels. He had his army, Michael had his. But the dragon prevailed not, neither was there found any place any more in heaven. The great dragon was cast out. That's one of his names. In other words, Leviathan, the great dragon. His second name, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan. There's his four names, which deceiveth the whole world. That's his second job. He deceives people. He's a liar. And he's deceived the whole world. And he was cast into the earth, and his angels were cast with him. His judgment is this. He is stuck, whereas he once was the covering cherub that covered all of the glory of God, which means the whole universe. That's why he can be everywhere in the earth. He's the unholy spirit of Beelzebub, because he was massive. He was the only one created that could do that. I'm going to get into that when I discuss Lucifer. But we find out that he stood up and waged war in Revelations 12, 7 through 9, and he led a third of the angels of God against Michael and his angels. And we know that they've now estimated that each person on Earth, 7.28 billion, can have 11 trillion stars. So if you think about that, that's a number of angels that is just mind-boggling. And he led them in war against the Lord God. So when you read about Leviathan being the king of pride, it's actually describing one of the faces of Satan. He has 4 faces. One is the devil. When he shows his face as the devil, he's seeking to have you do your own will. It is the -evil in the early English. It means to do your own will, which is sin of witchcraft, to resist God's will and seek your own way. Craft out your own way. That's why the devil is the god over witchcraft. It's also Leviathan, which is the devourer and the destroyer. He's that which takes what he wants. He's the king of pride. He's the devourer and the destroyer as Leviathan. He's Satan, the bull, the red bull, the one that wants to be worshipped instead of God, the one who will give you his own form of worship, whatever that may be. He's dark. He opposes all that is good and right. He's also the old serpent. Sophists are those that seek wisdom, science, that reject God through agnosticism or atheism or just pure science, even though science always proves the Bible right, supports and validates everything of God. So that's the 4 faces of Satan. And this is Dr. Knotts. I hope you've enjoyed this lecture, and I will speak to you next on Lucifer. Lord